questions I'm answering today are how to lose the last few pounds, lose the last 5 or 10 pounds on Carnivore. Especially, I am approaching 60, and the gal who asked the question is approaching 65. We're both the same height, nearly the same age, just a few years apart. And she wants to lose the last 5 pounds. We're sitting at a very similar weight. A little bit of history. I'll show you my transformation pictures here. So I went through a fitness transformation back in 2008, going from even bigger than the picture in the white shirt. My top non-pregnancy weight was 185 pounds. And then I got down to, this is a little bit more, but my lowest weight was 115. So I did lose 70 pounds, but I've stabilized right between 120 and 125. I call that my fighting weight, my happy weight. As a matter of fact, my favorite weight is like 123.4, and I'm like totally content there. But I do understand the desire to get leaner, even once you've gotten to a healthy weight. I think one of the problems that we face in terms of our beauty standards is that they are very difficult to attain, and that's one of the reasons why that they are the marketing standard. After about the 1920s, and definitely once the Hays Commission, the Film Commission, put in rules on the way women were kind of supposed to look after the 1930s, what we saw is a very slender kind of physique being very, very popular in the media, and then going on to modeling. And so I think, and also one of the reasons why is they were marketing cigarettes to women as a way to stay slim. So they really wanted this sense that, ooh, I really want to have this cigarette instead of this snack. And the other thing is that right around this time, I believe this is when Crisco came into development and people started to eat seed oils. And so I do think that there's definitely a connection between after the 1930s and the 20s with changes in people's diet. Certainly, if you think about what happened during the Depression, is that, certainly, grains, flour, bread, all of these things are much less expensive than meat. So it would make perfect sense that people would begin this, projection of gaining in the 20s and 30s, the 20s with seed oils, and then of course the 30s with just trying to, eat what you could afford. I will mention though that I'm like a very, very late boomer. I was born in 1964, and so my parents were greatest generation, and they went through the Depression. And one of their favorite Depression era meals was called goldenrod eggs. And it was a special way, you did a special sauce that you put over eggs that would make it, appropriate for dinner. I do think that there was some flour in the sauce. So what do I say when people say to me, I'm around 60, I'm a woman, and I want to lose the last few pounds? What I say is that resistance training, progressive resistance training, works. And if you look at physical culture over the last 100 years, since, well before the 1920s, there was an understanding in the physical culture movement that proper nutrition and weight training, resistance training, were the keys to get this physical culture physique, which I believe that when you say you want to drop those last few pounds, that you really do want to lean out. And so what I told the poster is I said, I will write out the exact routines that I use and that I used to use, and I will put them up on my webpage, which is catherinetraining.com. It's my ugly blog. It is not a pretty blog, but the information is there. So I was a certified personal trainer for a number of years. I was the Turbulence Trainer of the Year, specializing in transformations. The market got really, really, really crowded. My best year was like 2013, 2014. 2015 was really good. But then literally on the same street, 2 more fitness studios opened on my same street, and then another one opened across town. No excuse. I could have stayed and kept going. But I felt like I had my run. And also another thing happened in terms of social media. When I got started, like back in 2008, when I won the transformations contest, Facebook, Google would still allow you to post and then boost, with some money, before and after pictures. My before and after pictures have been stolen and reused many times. Google Catherine Gordon fat loss and you'll see them. They're in the white bikini. And I understand why they wouldn't allow people to use before and after pictures anymore in any kind of paid advertising. And that made it kind of hard for me to really accelerate people being aware of, turbulence training and sugar freedom. It was really great there for a while, because those before and after pictures were my biggest marketing strategy. But that's okay. We're going to move on, because I learned the techniques and I still use them to this very day. And when I do work with clients on a very, very limited basis, a lot of times what I'll do is I'm not really training people anymore, but I'll design a program for you. And that's what I'll do. And this is it. So it begins with the 9 lifts for insulin sensitivity. And this is for anybody you love. If you've taken a long break from training, or you care about somebody and you want them to start lifting, I want everybody to lift. Men, women, kids, well, maybe not toddlers, but everybody, is the benefits, the mental benefits, the strength benefits, the metabolic benefits are so big. But especially for those of us, I'm just about 60, for women over 60, the research is that a woman in her 40s and a woman in their 60s train together and they lift the same amount of weight. The woman in her 40s will actually gain muscle. The woman in her 60s will get stronger, but she won't gain any muscle unless she really takes it to a certain level of intensity. You have to challenge yourself more if you want to build muscle over 60. But here's the good news. If you're one of those gals, I am not one of them, who absolutely doesn't want any more visible muscle, if you're over 60, honey, go for it. Lift what you can, because you have to really targeted protein consumption and really targeted training in order to gain any size, any muscle volume over 60. So lift the way you want. But so the program, it's the 9, it's right there on that page on catherinetraining.com. And this has been proven to improve insulin sensitivity. It's just 9 lifts in a row, non-competing lifts. We go push-up, squat, rows, Romanian deadlifts, finishing with 2 with bicep curls and tricep extensions. But the point is that just doing 1 set of each exercise to failure has been proven, demonstrated to improve insulin sensitivity. And when you improve your insulin sensitivity, you manage your appetite, and it is so much easier to lose weight. Even way back in 2008, I told Craig Ballantyne, and he was really surprised, because everybody says, oh, well, diet is 80% of weight loss. And I was like, no, the key was the lifting, because it was the lifting that allowed me to manage my eating and then lose weight. So that first one, for at least the first 4 weeks, is those 9 exercises, just 1 set, to the point where you cannot maintain excellent form anymore. And then you move on to this training if you wish. And this is turbulence training. This is what I did to transform. This is what Craig had and what he taught. Interestingly enough, about 2 years ago, he went ahead and took down the TT website. Selling online information has completely changed. It isn't the same market that it used to be. And maintaining the websites gets more and more difficult. There's a number of rules that have to do with things like disability and things like that make it harder and harder to properly maintain a website and stay within all of the requirements. But I still have the training. So this progresses to, after 4 weeks of just doing the 9 lifts 3 times a week, or 2 will work. If you want to progress, you go on to 3 non-competing supersets. And so my favorite would simply be, we're going to start with, so the first set is going to be the push-up and the push-up and the squat, and then you're going to do the row and the Romanian deadlift, and then you're going to do an overhead press and like a curtsy lunge or a T-bend or a single leg reverse lunge. You're going to do a single leg, and that's that traditional. You do 3 rounds, usually 8 reps, 3 rounds of 8, and then you're doing the 2. So the non-competing is the push-up and the squat. 8 reps of each, rest in between, complete 3 sets, rest a little longer, and then move on to the next set. But then, and especially if you're 60 or going for 65, if you want to build muscle and really get that kind of like the aspirational physique, 5-day split. That's the ticket. And I joined an Anytime Fitness recently. And the reason I joined is that they've got 3 different power racks there. And they've got every station. So they've got the leg extension and they got the hamstring curl. They've got all of the ways that I can work my legs. All the really, just squat and deadlift is fine with me. And then I'll go dance. But my 5-day split, and there's an infographic in the post at catherinetraining.com. And I'm going to put on my glasses so I can read this infographic. So here's my 5-day split. Catherine's 5-day split. 3 sets of each lift. Week 1, 8 reps each. Week 2, 10 reps each. Week 3, 12 reps each. And then week 4, increase the weight and then go back to 8 reps each. So day 1 is leg day. Woohoo! And that would be squats, Romanian deadlifts, and then supported reverse lunges. I like to hold on to something so I can do a full reverse lunge. Day 2 is chest. So it'll be push-ups, a lying dumbbell fly, and then a lying single arm dumbbell press. That's not really standard, but I think I was trying to be creative. Day 3, back. Bent over rows, dumbbell pullovers, single arm dumbbell rows. Oh, I know what this is. This is a 5-day split at home. This is like if you don't have access to a gym. So it's all dumbbells. And then day 4 is shoulders. You've got overhead press, butterfly raises, and then single arm overhead press. Yeah, this is with no machines. And then day 5, arms, dumbbell curls, double bent over tricep extensions, hammer curls, and tricep dips. So that's an example of a 5-day split. And that, I believe, if you've got your carnivore dialed in, carnivore. So if you're eating carnivore, you've got your protein dialed in, your appetite is satisfied. So all you have to do is just add weight. Now I have for you, I wrote down the clean carnivore that I'm doing right now. I don't even need to look it up. I've got it memorized. So I was shocked. When I'm eating clean carnivore, that means I'm not having any cream cheese. I'm not having that little cocoa and stevia dessert that I make. I'm not having any of that stuff. So when I do clean carnivore, which is basically it's eggs, beef, and bacon and butter. Yeah, it's eggs, beef, bacon, and butter. I have a picture that I'm going to post. I'm going to do this as a regular video and then post it on my channel so you'll get to actually see my morning prep. So when I am eating eggs, beef, and bacon, I can eat what they call ad libitum. So I can eat at liberty because that is so satisfying. I never overeat. And I did the math. And yes, I do have some cream in my coffee in the morning, but I'm really pulling back on all of that stuff. And really cleaning it up. So I guess the only thing that's a little bit dirty carnivore would be the heavy cream in my coffee in the morning. So I did the math and it comes out to even if I have all the fat on the beef that I want, it's only coming out at 1,450 calories. And it's really more like 1,350. And I can get by. Now remember, I'm only 5'1". I can literally get by at around 1,100, 1,150, which is what would be prescribed for someone who was preparing for a bikini contest. I mean, maybe not just, I think the preparation for bikini, you don't have to be as lean as the other levels that go up. And I did keto gains back in 2017. It was amazing. It's much more expensive now. But Luis Villaseñor designed everybody a 5-day split. And then it was a ketogenic diet, definitely plenty of protein. Not nearly as much fat. It certainly wasn't carnivore. There were vegetables in it. But it really got lean. But what was interesting is that what that program was requiring was, calories, the most calories I was eating every day. Because remember, this was a lean out. Was 1,100 and it was actually going down to even less. But this on, eggs, beef, bacon, and a little bit of butter to cook it in, my appetite is effortlessly controlled. I got to tell you. So I got these top sirloins yesterday. I was at the grocery store and they were on sale for $6.99 a pound, which is really good in California. And I noticed that they were very trimmed. There was very little fat on them. And I asked the guy at the meat counter, can I get these do they come with more fat on them? And he said, yes, they do. And I said, can I get them that way? And he said, yeah, the butcher's on a break, but he'll come back and he'll trim you some that way. And so the fat on my top sirloins was about that thick. And here's what I did. I heated up a cast iron pan, and then I cooked them by setting them down, balancing them against the rim of the pan. And then I was kind of rendering that fat. So I was cooking and crisping the fat first without cooking the steaks at all. And then once the fat was getting cooked, then I would lean the steaks down in the pan and finish them. Amazing. And then the wonderful thing about that fat is that I could trim it off and then sear again. And then that fat was like oh, are we still in? Oh, let's say hi again if you can hear me. Did we lose volume? Okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going, and then I'm going to redo this as a video later in case we're actually not getting, unless it's not getting through. I'll make it, oh, here we go. There we go, thanks. Okay, so anyway, so this fat, right? I've got this extra fat that the butcher, left on the sirloins for me. No extra charge, of course. And so literally I've got that on the side as kind of like a little side dish. And then I'm having, little bits of that with my egg and, and with the lean steak. And so what's happening is it's completely satisfying my appetite. And so I'm definitely eating less. And I had that meal at 1:30. It's coming up on 6 o'clock and I have no interest in eating for the rest of the day. So that's another element of how do you lean out? How do you lose that last 5 to 10 pounds on carnivore? I would say lift weight and keep it clean, and then, eat the foods. I better leave my glasses on. You guys might be, sending me questions. And then eat the foods that nourish and satisfy you. So I had gotten kind of like used to eating this dessert that I make. I have a birthdays and special occasions. It's cream cheese, heavy cream, cocoa, and stevia, and a little bit of vanilla. Dirty carnivore. Well, not even really carnivore. It's really keto. And I had been having that regularly, and I wanted to get a little bit leaner, wear some of the things in the back of my closet. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give that dessert up. And the first couple of days, the topic is losing the last 5 or 10 pounds on carnivore. And then I'm wrapping that topic up. And then we're getting to saving your teeth, what to do about gum disease. My gum disease resolved once I started carnivore, but somebody specifically asked on my channel, he's getting ready to have some of his teeth pulled, and his dentist wants to do the deep oral surgery on him. So I am going to talk about that. And I think it relates to anybody who's doing carnivore. I think we've all got friends who are spending too much at the oral surgeon, and they would probably like to know about some of this stuff. But really, to finish up talking about losing those last 5 to 10 pounds, especially I'm about to turn 60. The gal who asked the question, she's my height and size. She's 65. That if you're a female, so, if you've got friends that you care about, women who want to lose that last 5 or 10 pounds, it really is, you've got to nourish and satisfy yourself with clean carnivore so you're not hungry, out of bounds. And then it's weightlifting, it's resistance training. CatherineTraining.com, my website is not pretty. So basically, the name of the article that I've written is How to Progress Your Strength Training for Weight Loss. Because it's, if you're keto or low carb, carnivore is best for this, but you got to get the protein. Oh my goodness. So actually, did you know the protein guidelines have been changed? Like in general, they're admitting that we need 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. And that's a big change. I started I got my certification in 2011. And I think that maybe like for athletes it was 1.4. And now they're saying it's 1.5, especially for people over 60. You know, you got to have that protein to stay out of the nursing home. That's one of the things we're doing. So that is the topic on losing the last 5 to 10 pounds. Keep it clean. And definitely beef and eggs. I mean, if all else fails, you know, just eat steak and eggs for a couple of days. I don't know if it was Vince Gironda who said it or whether it was Luis who said it, or I don't know who said it, but we say, if you're not hungry for steak, you're not hungry. And so I think that's some of the best advice that I've received. So the other question I'm addressing on this live, is a poster on my channel who said was going to get 2 teeth extracted and also having what we call the quadrant surgery. All right, gum disease. I had it. Let me tell you about it. It's no fun. So this is an implant because this was a peg lateral, and this is from way back in 1997. And I was having bone loss, so they replaced it, and there's been some shifting, whatever. I'm not as vain as I used to be. Carnivore's funny. It like turns you into like the person you really are. And there is so much that it's so funny. I cared so much more about my looks when I was younger. And now I actually found a way, if I had known, but whatever. And then this tooth has been capped. I'm missing a molar here and a molar here. Back in 2008, which my transformation had happened, but I hadn't gone carnivore yet. I had gone keto. I was doing eat, stop, eat, but there was still this sense that you went meat heavy until you lost the weight, and then you were really supposed to try add those above ground vegetables in, add those low sugar fruits back in. I really felt like the healthiest thing for me would be to lose the weight and then rebalance my diet to add more fruit and vegetables. But the reality is that my gum issues, my periodontal issues really did not completely stabilize until carnivore. And I didn't really commit to carnivore until probably about 2022. I did it for the first time 2018. And then kind of went back and forth, and then really recommitted to carnivore probably about 6 months ago. But anyway, in terms of saving my teeth, so by 10 years ago, they took these 2 teeth, and they were like, and you were absolutely going to lose 2 more. They were going to take this front one, and then there is another molar, this molar here. They're like, that's, they're going to go. This one's going, this one's going to go. That was 10 years ago, and it hasn't happened. And if you think about it, I went carnivore really started it in 2017. So that's been 7 years on and off. Last year, really dedicated. And I think one of the reasons that I really dedicated myself to carnivore in the last year was because this molar was starting to get loose. And now my hygienist is like, oh my God, what are you doing? Because my pockets are so clean, and I use this. It's tooth soap. I usually put a link on my videos now. You get it on Amazon. Only the tooth soap. There's like different powders and stuff. No. They've got like clove in them and things like that. Now there might be some ingredients here that y'all aren't cool with, but I'm going to read them. You're not going to swallow it, but this is what. So you wet your toothbrush, but I actually use these bamboo Proxa brushes. So this is a dropper. I just put a drop on this Proxa brush, and then I go into the pockets, and it flushes out the bacteria, neutralizes the bacteria, and helps my gums stay adhered. Pockets are clean and so happy, and also not having the inflammatory reactions of having any bacteria or having any food in those pockets. If you have or you care about anyone who has periodontal disease, one of the reasons it progresses is that you get the pockets and you can't reach in there, and then things get in there and it just makes everything worse and worse. And then your whole system is inflamed, and the inflammation caused by your periodontal disease messes with your metabolism, and then you have a vicious cycle. Carnivore starts a positive cycle. So the carnivore diet, is helping your insulin and your inflammation, and that helps your immune system, restabilize your periodontal disease. But the most important thing is, just before my transformation in 2008, when I went from like a size 16 all the way down to a 0 between 2008 and the end of 2009, right before that, I had what they call like the flap cleaning. I know this is a little bit graphic, but you get completely Novocaine'd up, and then they go in and they do one quadrant at a time, and they really open up the gums and get underneath there with you completely anesthetized, like, like the big needle and everything. Once that was done, I found that I really started losing weight. I was training, I was cutting carbs, and I believe that having that oral surgery, that flap cleaning, helped my insulin resistance, and it definitely helped my inflammation. You guys probably know this already, but there is this connection between gum disease and heart disease. And it's like, I'm sorry, like the doctors say and the dentists say, your mouth is part of your body. And if you're having problems there, it travels everywhere else. But it's been really cool. This tooth soap, my hygienist, she was so impressed. She was like, bring it next time and show me. And I was like, this is the stuff. It's amazing. It's about $23 a bottle, but it lasts and lasts and lasts because you're only using a couple of drops each time you brush your teeth. And I do it once a day. They say it's most helpful to do it at night before you go to bed so that bacteria isn't sitting in there while you sleep. But sometimes I do it in the morning. So that is the bottom line. Losing those last 5 or 10 pounds means clean carnivore, and I believe adding weightlifting, and then if you can add some intervals, some Tabata training too. And then finally, the big thing for me, having lost the 70 pounds and kept them off for 16 years, is that when you get your diet and your exercise dialed in, food doesn't take such a huge place in your life anymore. More important things rise to the top. And for me, that was learning the piano, the guitar, the ukulele, dancing, continuing to act, and now starting to teach doing vocal coaching and doing some acting and some dance coaching, mostly vocal, and going to work starting next week as the music enrichment instructor for charter school support. And I'm really excited. I like working with students. I've directed them before in musicals, and can't wait to share some of my vocal and acting and music strategies with them. And Carnivore keeps me fueled, and it also keeps me confident. You're so funny. So if you're talking about beauty, so I like to say I am not a beautiful young girl, but I've played one on stage. My sister was the beauty in the family. She looked anyway. But when we're talking about beauty, a lot of times, I have my double chin, right? I've been an actor for years and years and years. You understand how to stand, how to turn your head. But ultimately, it comes from inside. And I think Carnivore makes you beautiful because it makes you confident and it makes you honest. I mean, who goes around telling people, "Oh yes, I don't eat plants. I am meat based." If you're just wanting approval, I think that's what it is to maintaining your looks, or I guess maintaining your attractiveness, that people want to be around you. I think so much of it just has to do with confidence and feeling good about yourself. And a lot of that comes from doing what you love. People are talking now about the expensiveness of meat and, it being hard to go carnivore. I just want to tell folks, oral surgery is so expensive. Cleanings are not. So now all I have to have is cleanings and x-rays. Before, I was having these deep cleanings a couple of times a year. It was hundreds, thousands of dollars a year dealing with gum disease. I'm not on any medications at all. And I'm 60 years old. I think maybe the doctors would like me to take a statin because they think my LDL is a little bit high. This is not medical advice, but yeah, you know, that does happen. But my HDL trig ratio is perfect and my waist is the right size. So that's the way I put that. And I just, you know, carnivore. I'm going to keep doing it because it works. And the most important thing for me, I like to say, is I want to be able to dance forever. I want to dance forever. I want to be that old lady, you know, doing the splits at 90 or whenever, however long I have. And I really believe that clean carnivore and lifting weights, that's the way it is. All right. Be well. Eat for yourself, and I will get more questions, and I'll come back and do another live when I do. Thanks for being here, everybody.